The National Family Caregiver Support Program was developed in 2001 by the Administration on Aging after listening to the needs expressed by thousands of family caregivers in discussions across the United States. Through the Older Americans Act, Age Guide Northeastern Illinois receives federal funding to administer this program in our region. The Family Caregiver Support Program is a unique program because of its purpose to provide support to a person who is caring for another individual. Most programs offered through the Older Americans Act provide direct support to people in need of care. Almost everyone seeking assistance from Age Guide and our partners has a caregiver who helps them manage daily activities. Ensuring that caregivers have access to education and supports they need is vitally important to their own health and the health of the person under their care. Without caregivers to help, many older adults and people with disabilities could not remain living at home. About 44 million Americans provide 37 billion hours of unpaid informal care each year for adult family members and friends with chronic illnesses or conditions that prevent them from managing daily activities, such as bathing, taking medications, or preparing meals on their own. So you can see that there's a real need to support our family caregivers. Approximately 44 million Americans provide 37 billion hours of unpaid informal care. Family caregivers, particularly women, provide over 75% of caregiving support in the US. In 2020, the estimated economic value of family caregivers' unpaid contributions was at least $450 billion. This is how much it would cost to replace that care with paid services. Many caregivers may not identify as caregivers when they contact our agency. They may be a friend, neighbor, daughter, sibling, spouse. Caregivers do simple but time-consuming tasks like picking up the mail, shopping for groceries, transporting them to and from appointments, everyday things. People that do these things for a loved one or a friend do not think of themselves as caregivers. People generally don't think of themselves as caregivers until the tasks become more intense with complicated conditions such as Parkinson's disease or dementia. They do things like regularly preparing meals or cleaning the house. They provide help with personal care, medical nursing tasks like wound care, not just Band-Aids, difficult. But they must administer these things as well. And these caregivers do these things out of love. They are informal caregivers and they're not paid for this work. These are the minimum requirements that we are tasked through this program. Information to caregivers about available services, assistance in giving caregivers access to the services. They offer individual counseling, training for caregivers, and support groups. Respite care to temporarily relieve caregivers from their responsibilities. And finally, supplemental gap-filling services that complement the care provided, or they make it possible for the older adult to live safely in the community. So which caregivers can be served under the Family Caregiver Support Program? Family members, informal caregivers, including friends and neighbors. These folks don't need to live with the people they care for either. Grandparents and other relatives 55 years and older who are taking care of a child under 18. And relatives caring for adult children who are aged 19 to 59 and are living with a severe disability also qualify. And who provides these services for Age Guide? Our Family Caregiver Resource Centers are agencies that we fund so caregivers can access the services you see on the screen. They serve as a point of entry to a broad range of services for caregivers and non-parent relative caregivers raising children. The Access Assistance identifies the caregiver's needs and provides information, referral, and linkage to the services you see here, and they can also help set up the services. They can provide assistance over the phone, in the office, or in the caregiver's home. Respite temporarily relieves caregivers from their responsibilities, and it can provide adult day services, short-term stay in a nursing facility or assisted living, or in-home care. And then finally, gap filling complements the care provided with anything not covered by insurance or any other means. And it might include adaptive equipment, transportation, utility bill or rental assistance, and minor home modifications. Our caregiver counseling centers provide therapeutic counseling because 40 to 70% of caregivers suffer from clinical depression. We also can provide life coaching that helps caregivers understand their new role, what to expect from the care receiver, parenting the second time around, understanding teenagers, or they can just provide someone to talk to. They also provide caregiver training on a wide range of topics and conduct disease-specific informational programs to provide stress relief, like the stress busting program for family caregivers. They also provide support groups that meet regularly for younger or older caregivers or relatives raising children. So where do you go to learn more about the Family Caregiver Support Program? Go online now to www.ageguide.org or call us toll-free today, 1-800-528-2000.